Hello again, minions! I am back, and I am here to give you my recap / review of the BAP concert in DC. It was an amazing concert. I was so excited to go, and I have a lot to say. Let's get into some recap first, and then I'll go more into a bit of review. It's really weird doing this by myself, but other people are busy. I think I did a lot of recapping already during my vlog, but I might have missed some things. I don't know. It's been a couple days, so a lot of things are still a bit of a blur. I was not able to get any kind of footage in the venue because I was not willing to have the potential of my camera getting taken at the venue because I did not trust them to keep it safe. Because of my stupidity, I left my tickets at home. But I was able to get a scanned copy sent to me on my phone, so my phone was my ticket, so I couldn't use the 20% of battery that was left. I couldn't use that for vlogging. I needed to keep my ticket available on my phone. So I couldn't record in the venue, and I did very little things, and then after it was all done, then I recorded the little bit of recapping we did as we were hobos out on the street. So sorry about that, but you know, there's better fan cams of people who were much closer than we were, so I don't really feel too bad about that. For a basic review, I don't know, this is hard for me to remember now. It is a bit of a blur. So the moments that I remember most are still the ones I said in the vlog. If there's any others, I can't really think of them right now. I mean, I can tell you my feelings now after the concert. I really wished we had gone to the fan meet. Now that I know how things worked, I think it's stupid how they made it work, but you know, whatever. Honestly, let's just go right into the review because this will bring up a lot of things that I noticed, and it's just easier for me than trying to remember things off the top of my head. So I'm going to start by saying this review is going to be a little weird, and I'm going to rate different things about it because, and I have some theories about it as well, but it was just not very holistic, if that makes any sense. Anyway, start with the venue itself. I was actually really intrigued by having a K-pop concert in a ritzy theater setting, especially BIP, where they're very kind of gritty and rough and boss, in a very ritzy and upper class kind of, or upscale, whatever you want to call it, venue. It had potential of being very cool. The issues that I had with it are kind of minor, but it was enough to really frustrate me personally in a concert setting. It was small. I understand that they didn't anticipate the response they would get from American audiences, but the stage was just so small, and I think that's been something that's been consistent throughout all the tour from what I've seen, is all their stages are really small, so they had to condense a lot of their choreography down to fit the stage, and it was, I mean, it's more intimate for the fans that got up close to them, but I just felt like for us way back because we were in the mid-balcony area, for us and people even further back than us, it was very difficult to see what they were doing because they had to condense everything down and it wasn't as explosive as they normally would. They also had an issue with the fact that it was a theater. Even though it was a concert they were putting on, their staffing still treated this like any other event they would at this theater. So if you arrived late or pretty much just before or after the act started playing, you had to be escorted to your seat by ushers. These ushers were working overtime. I mean, they were amazing. I honestly don't think that they did a bad job. They did an amazing job seating everybody as quickly as possible, but it gave another feeling that I don't like at a concert. It was kind of stifling. It was kind of like, it felt like they were controlling you in a way, if that makes any sense at all. I'm not sure. This is just the feeling that I got. You weren't sure what the rules were in this situation. It was very confusing. I think concerts need to be held in event centers or something outdoors or something where it's much more free feeling. That way you can kind of let go and just have fun. During the concert, we decided in certain parts that we would just kind of forget these imaginary rules that you couldn't stand up, because nobody really ever told us you couldn't. But everybody kind of felt like you needed to sit down. It was really weird. We would stand up and dance, but it was really awkward because half the audience, because where we were sitting was about 7 rows back from the edge of the balcony, and everybody below us would not ever stand up. Everybody behind us would. And off to our right a little bit, they were standing up, they were dancing, and it was fine. But like everybody in front of us, except for maybe a couple people right in front of us, they wouldn't stand up and they weren't really cheering. And I'm just like, why are you even here? Also, I don't know if this is the venue's issue, but I need to bring it up at least in this section. I think it's the organizers more, and I think it kind of goes with this. They had some serious sound issues at this one. I don't know if they had it at other concerts, but specifically at this one, they had some serious sound and lighting issues, actually. I'm not entirely sure who they hired to run their equipment, but I think they need to be fired. It was bad. The first half, their mics kept cutting in and out, or they would be extremely loud or extremely quiet, or it was just, we're here to hear them rap and sing, and if their mics aren't working, it becomes very difficult for us to enjoy that. So I was very, very frustrated with their equipment issues that way. Also, the lighting was atrocious. I mean, half the time I was squinting because the lights were behind them, shooting up into the audience. And, maybe they didn't think, theater setting with how the stands go, but even then, I don't think you should ever shoot light towards the audience, at least not more than a couple seconds for an effect. Like when they first come from behind the screen, I'm okay with the light shooting at us and we can't really quite see them. It gives them an unearthly feeling. That's perfectly fine. But there were times during songs, like during, I think it was Daehyun and Youngjae doing I Believe I Can Fly, the lights were shining right in my face and I could not for the life of me see them. And that frustrated me. I love listening to them, but I want to see them as well. That's why I flew out to DC to see them. Let me see them! Frustrating. There was also another equipment issue that I had, and that was the videography. I don't know who was in charge of the screen and the videotaping members or whatever, but they obviously didn't know what they were doing. As an amateur film artist or videographer, whatever you want to call me, I don't know what I am. It frustrated me the most that they were never on, half the time they were not focused on the person that was currently singing or rapping, or if they weren't focusing on them, they would pull out and do a huge audience view, which we don't care about. For me, being on the balcony, I don't want to see the audience. I can see them really well. I don't care. I want to see the people I cannot see very well. That is your one job. Is it really that hard? Also, if you're going to have a huge screen where you're going to put the members up for the people who aren't close to the stage, you might want to just do that instead of spending time and money on stupid graphics that half the time I don't care about. I don't care that you want to have rain falling unless I can see them. I don't care. I didn't like their videography one bit. They need to be fired. Cut back on the graphics. Take the money from that. Spend a little bit more on some extra screens or something that you can project them on, and then have your stupid graphics in the background if you really need to. Honestly, we're not coming there for graphics. We're coming there to see these boys. We would appreciate it if that's what you were featuring. Next section of my review is going to be more focused on the organization and communication from the organizers to the fans, which, as we know from my original rant about buying tickets, is pretty much non-existent, and this sadly continued throughout this portion of the tour at least. I don't know how it worked in LA and San Fran. This is just how it worked in DC, and it may not be the specific organizers. I have a feeling Verizon has a touch into it, or it could be DC organizers. I don't know. All I know is that they need to be fired. I'm going to fire a lot of people that was involved with this tour. So this category specifically, communication especially, gets the lowest ranking possible. It was mismanaged from the very start, and I have to give it a 0. It gets a complete 0. It was ridiculous. There was pretty much no communication towards the fans about how things would work, and for people like me who are coming from across the states, it's kind of needed for me to know things ahead of time so that I can prepare. I'm okay if you decide to do it a stupid way, fine, whatever. I'll deal with it, but you need to tell me that ahead of time. it was annoying to me how they sold merchandise at this concert. From what I got, because I kept trying to find out where they were going to sell it, when they were going to sell it, because that was my biggest thing. I needed a concert t-shirt. That was what I needed. It's exclusive. And I missed out last time at the Big Bang concert at their exclusive hoodies. I was determined to get at least a t-shirt at this one. So I was asking around trying to find out where on earth they were selling merchandise. I asked a week ahead on the Facebook page. Still nothing. No communication whatsoever. It's really not that hard to just jump on Facebook and tell people what's going on. When you're at a K-pop concert and you don't have a light stick or a whistle or any way other than just saying the fan chants, it's actually extremely awkward to try to participate. You have people who are using their light sticks to keep the beat or whatever, but you're standing there completely empty-handed and you feel very awkward. I didn't think I would feel that awkward, but I didn't know what to do with my hands. They were completely free, and that never happens at a K-pop concert. Just doesn't. Boys were great, bar none. They are great performers. I enjoyed them immensely. But the concert itself was a bit of a bust, and there's very many reasons why. Moving on now to the general organization of the actual concert itself. I'm trying really, really hard not to compare this too much to the Big Bang concert. However, it's really hard because it's the only point of reference I really have for another K-pop concert. But I understand that concert spoiled me. Like a lot. Not everybody can be Big Bang. And I also keep forgetting that BAP are technically still rookies. I mean, yeah, they're about a year in, but that's still rookie to me. They don't have the amazing company like YG is. They're a very established company. And they don't have the experience that Big Bang has. So it's really not fair to compare the concerts. But again, this is the only reference I have. So I'm going to try to keep it just to what I felt there and try not to bring Big Bang in too much. But there's going to be a little bit. Let me introduce a little bit of my preference here, maybe, and understand that this review is slightly biased. Because again, it is my review. It's not a general review. It's what I felt. When I go to a concert, I'm expecting the atmosphere to be set from the moment I walk in and not be broken until much later. It should never be broken at the concert, ever, in my opinion. This makes for a more magical experience and keeps me pumped. At this concert, they had opening acts, and it was part of this Asia Pacific American Heritage Month thing they have going on. I can't even remember the name, but that's who is sponsoring this tour. So fine, great, whatever. So they had some Asian Americans doing opening acts, and we got in a little bit late because the line was freaking long. And so we only heard like one song from this guy that I don't even know his name anymore, but it was just weird for me. I don't necessarily want to come in and listen to some random person. I'm there to see BAP. That's why I spent all that money. I don't really want to be forced to listen to songs I don't care about. Just saying. But honestly, that's really not that big of a deal to me. I could have dealt with it. The biggest annoyance to me was when the lights dimmed after these acts went off stage and they started playing the promo for the tour. Instantly, the babies were screaming and I started getting excited and I was like, okay, now we're going. Here we go. This is going to be awesome and amazing. I'm so excited. And then they started playing a commercial on the big screen. I did not pay that much money to watch a freaking commercial. I don't care how much signage you put up around the arena. I don't care if during the promos for the tour you play whatever you want. I don't care if you did it at the fan meet even. I don't care. But when I have the mood set for this concert, I don't want your dang commercials coming in and annoying the crap out of me. I hate commercials. And why would you do that at a concert? Everybody totally just started talking to each other and it was complete chaos again and they lost their attention immediately. That's a big no-no. You can't lose your audience's attention as soon as you start. That's really bad. So, whatever. I had to get over it, but it really honestly just took the mood right out for me. And then the commercials ended. The lights all dimmed, and I felt like, okay, now we are actually going to start. And then music started playing. I don't know if this is something that other people do very often, but for me, it annoyed me. They started playing songs to get the crowd pumped up, but they weren't BAP songs. This does not make sense to me. If you want to get your crowd totally pumped up for your concert, it makes sense to me to play songs that we know and we want to hear live. We're so excited to hear them sing this. We're so excited to hear them sing that. There are people who are singing their songs out in line. It makes sense to me to at least play the songs. If you're not going to play music videos on the screen instead of your stupid commercials. Yes, again, I'm comparing this a little bit to Big Bang. I love that they did that because it got you excited. You're seeing them up there in all their glory, and you know, you're looking at the stage, you know that they're going to be up there, and you're having to bring together your two worlds where this is reality and that is like a fantasy, but now they're going to collide. That pumps you up like nothing else could. Especially not American songs that I don't care about. I was really annoyed by that. So when the concert actually finally started, we were introduced to the theme of the concert through a very interesting video with rather hilarious English. So we had somebody introducing us to the idea of the planet motto, and the 6 members are coming down, and it was really weird, and I feel like they really need to hire some sort of English translator, or if they're going to have a narrator who speaks English, let him fix the English that you're using, because there was a lot of things that did not make sense, though they were really funny. One thing I remember the most that we quoted for the rest of the weekend was that BAP was coming to make sure we had no more cries. Thank you, BAP. I don't want any more cries. It was the weirdest thing. Then the boys emerged from behind the screen that lifted up, and it was bright, flashing light. Well, it wasn't flashing, it was just a steady light that blinded us, and it was very otherworldly, and I liked that. That was really cool. They came out when they did Warrior, and it was great, except the stage was extremely tiny. So they had to condense down a lot, and that really disappointed me, as I said earlier. So, frustration. But okay, they still had great energy for what they had to do. And I know for a fact from my dancing experiences, when we had to adapt to a smaller stage, you have to tone down your energy a bit, because if you have too much energy, you end up going off stage or overshooting or causing issues. So I understand that they had to dial down their energy, but for me, being all the way up on the balcony, it kind of disappointed me because I can't see their dialed down energy. I can't see it. Unless they put it up on the screen, which they didn't because they had animations up for that. Love you. So now, here comes the part that frustrated me, and it was just really kind of strange for me. I don't know if anybody else felt this way, but maybe it's just me, and that's okay, but here's what was strange and annoying for me. So they come out with an extremely powerful song. Oh, Warrior. Love it. It's what made me fall in love with BAP in the first place. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. I was up on my feet and we were dancing. I was like, yeah! And then they almost immediately went into a slow song. Gorgeous song, but why would you do this? You've just gotten your crowd pumped up. I don't understand why you would take them onto an immediate low. It doesn't make sense to me. And that's kind of how the rest of the concert went. There were sections that I absolutely loved. No Mercy. Love that song. Had such high energy. That got me on my feet. That was great. But oftentimes they would go into these awesome songs and have like one or two and then go into an extremely slow song that just confused me. It makes more sense to me to have a build and keep the audience's energy high until you want them to start calming down towards the end, because you want them to stay entertained, but you want them to feel like it's time to go too. And that also makes them kind of sad. Like, oh, let's not go, but whatever. I liked the last song that they did. That was fine for the goodbye, but I feel like they could have saved some of their slower songs for later on in the concert rather than immediately go into them. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. But it bugs me. Also, I was confused why the encore contains songs that should have been in their set list. Like, stop it. I mean, why wouldn't you have that in your set list? And Dancing in the Rain. Oh, I love Dancing in the Rain. It's like my favorite BAP song, and they saved it for the encore. I don't understand why they did that. They don't have that many songs. Keep it in the set list. And then you can repeat songs in your encore. That's why it's called an encore. Do it again. Warrior would have been fine to do that again. Power, No Mercy, even Rain Sound. I would have been okay in the encore. It doesn't matter what you play, the fact that you're coming back out is what we want. So I was a little bit frustrated that they saved some really good songs only for the encore, and they put in some really stupid songs in the set list. And by stupid, I really only mean the I Believe I Can Fly. I love Youngjae and Daehyun's voices, but I don't want to listen to American music when I'm at a K-pop concert. Just me. So again, for this category, before I give you the scoring, I have to tell you that, again, I know BAP are rookies, and this is not necessarily their fault. They probably didn't even come up with their set list. I'm pretty sure some manager did, or whoever was in charge of this concert did. I understand that. For what they were given, they pulled off an amazing concert. And even though I felt like the mood was confusing, I still had a great time, and they, even from all the way up in the balcony, I could still feel their energy. Zello and Bang Young-guk, you guys are my favorites because I could see you and I could be entertained by you even from really far away. So props for that. I'm going to have to give this category maybe an 8 out of 10. Before I end this one, let me just say, one person they do not need to fire is their stylist. Oh my gosh. Bang Young-guk's hair right now, and Jongup's hair, and Zello's hair, and Himjon's. I have not seen them look better than this right now. Oh my gosh. And then the costumes, those leather sparkly jackets they come out with, oh my gosh, are so attractive. You are amazing. Never go away. Stylist, I like you. You can stay. Ooh, the magic of movies. It's a completely different day and I look completely different, but it's because I actually got interrupted while filming, and that happened. So, but I only have one more category to talk about, and this one will be pretty quick since I've actually hit a lot of the points already that encompasses this category. So this one is going to be for overall experience. I do have to rate this kind of separately though, because I kind of feel like I did have two completely different experiences depending on how I look at it. So the concert itself, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10. I had to take away a point for the set list because it just wasn't what I wanted, and it did leave me confused and I wasn't sure what was going on. I had to also take away a point for them not really getting the fans to participate as much as I would like. They did a really great job. Don't get me wrong. I thought that they were very on, and Bang Young-guk was very sexy, and Zello, honestly, he worked the crowd the most. However, we talked about this a little bit right after the concert. I feel like most of their attention was very much focused on the pit area fans, which, you know, is fine. That's what they paid those tickets for. They should get that kind of attention. However, they had a very hard time getting the rest of the audience to join in and to participate. Like I said, part of this is the venue. It was very confusing what we were or were not allowed to do, and part of it also was lack of communication as to how the whole fan swag was supposed to be distributed or whatever. So I will have to say that in looking back and seeing how things worked now, I'm pretty sure, maybe people who actually were at fan meet can tell me, but I'm pretty sure what actually happened, rather than them trying to sell swag right after, maybe they had some, but I think what actually happened was that website they put up for you to buy swag beforehand was it. I'm pretty sure that was all where they were selling all of this, not all, but most of the swag, like the light sticks and the whistles and things. However, this still is a really bad situation because that was never actually explained to the fans. Nobody said, we are not going to be selling this on site. If you want to have this, you have to buy it beforehand. Nobody said that. So I didn't know what to do. I mean, I bought some things from there, but nothing like light sticks or whistles because I was expecting to get them there. So that, I'm going to have to take away a point for that sort of a thing, is there was no communication. Actually, I think I already took that off the point. By the way, So fan participation at the concert was not what I was hoping. Not everybody knew fan chants, but also I think that it would have helped if everybody had whistles. If they had just sold whistles there, I think they would have had a better response, quite honestly. Because even if you don't have a light stick, if you're doing the fan chant with the whistles, I think that would have worked just as well. So, a little disappointed about that. I mean, it's not a huge thing, but it's just enough that it just wasn't what I wanted. I will have to mention that him knows how to work the crowd as well, but he does it much more inwardly. He'll like pick one fan and stare at them for a minute, totally get them worked up, and then other fans will see him doing that and want him to do it to them, and it's very interesting. I think Youngjae and Daehyun still need a little bit work. Daehyun actually is very outgoing in his performing, but I don't think he's comfortable looking at the fans yet, which is completely understandable. It's very intimidating. I understand this, so he just needs a little bit of time. Youngjae, I feel, is a very shy person in general, so I can understand that as well. Jonghup, I didn't watch as much, to be honest, so I can't give you a rating necessarily on him, and I guess that applies to Daehyun and Youngjae as well, so maybe I'm completely biased, because I only really watched Bagyanga, Xelo, and Himchan for the most part. Jonghup, though, was very attractive. I will say this. For me, the only thing that could have made the overall concert portion experience better and would have made up for those 2 points that I had to take off would have been if there was a live band. Oh my gosh, guys. That would have been amazing. And if they had like mixed up the sound of their songs, because I love, love, love all of their songs. Just love them, but I think it would be interesting at a concert to hear them kind of mix up the sound and have it be a bit more hard, or you know what I mean? I don't know. And I think this will happen in the future. I think, again, I have to remind myself they are still rookies. I'm always forgetting this. So, that's just what I think. I mean, just think of it. If you could have a live bass during those songs, it would have been freaking amazing, and I'm really excited to see if they do that later on. I would also have to say that as far as the feeling and the atmosphere of the concert, the encore was the best part. They came out and they played songs that I absolutely adore. They played Dancing in the Rain. That's one of my like favorite BAP songs, and it's kind of weird because it's not one of their like boss songs, but for some reason I love that song. It's really weird. I was a little bit annoyed that they came out wearing swag that I could not possibly get, but you know, that's what you do at a concert, and that's just okay. Whew. Moving past that, they had so much energy for the encore, and they were playing more with the audience, obviously, because they could. They played a little bit with each other, but I still feel like there's this awkward dynamic, not necessarily with them, but with them and the fans. They're not really sure how much freedom they necessarily have and how much they need to be doing fan service, how much they need to be focusing on the fans, and how much they could be dancing or, you know, different things like that. Because they did still have set dances that they were doing during the encore, which was okay, but I feel like they could have gone out into the audience and messed with them more and paid more attention to other audience sections than just the pit. But, you know, again, rookies. I have to remember this. So easy to forget. Okay, honestly, here's my annoyances. You know that I don't like how they set it up with going into a really boss song and then to a slow song. I think it would have worked better if they've taken out the Youngjae Daehyun duo song and they put in Stop It instead. I think that Youngjae and Daehyun could have done their duet near the end if they had to, but in my opinion, I don't like that they're redoing a song. I think if they want to do a duet, they should compose a duet BAP style. My opinion. I was okay with them doing their cover of My First Kiss, but that was only because it was freaking adorable and Ban Jungkook was freaking hot. But other than that, I really would rather them do their own songs because that's what I come to see. My opinion. Not really going to take off points for that necessarily, but that's what I wish they would have done. Okay, now, the other rating is going to be for the overall experience from tickets to the very end of the concert. That whole thing and the feeling it gave me, I'm giving a 5 out of 10. You can hate me if you want, that's okay, but for me, the lack of communication, venue restrictions, and the whole swag fiasco was enough. For me, it was enough for the most dedicated fans to have a less than perfect experience. And that's not what you want when you go to a concert that is on the other side of the country. This is kind of segueing into the way it was run, and it was really poorly run. This tour is put together and sponsored by Verizon, who we know sucks. We knew this going in. I should have expected this. And I think I even said I was pretty sure the rest of the concert was going to be run pretty poorly. And it was. But it was done for the Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. So my theory is they needed an awesome band to come and play for their American concerts that they have going on. And it's supposed to be for this month. I'm fairly certain, I can't be completely certain because I wasn't part of the negotiations, but I'm fairly certain that even BAP didn't know about this part of their tour until about maybe a month or two. Lindsay's texting me. If this is the case, that would explain why we didn't have hardly any warning before tickets went on sale, and also why everything was so poorly managed. I don't think that they expected the kind of response that they would get from American fans for a rookie band, nor did they realize how popular this band would be. I mean, it does make sense to me that they are a rookie band. Even though they're hugely popular in Korea, I don't know if they could really guess how popular they would be coming to the States until tickets sales went on, and they sold out like within the first few minutes. I think they started getting an idea of how popular they were. However, they were only a month out to the concert, so I don't know that they could have done anything to fix the venue issues or the swag issues, because I don't know if they had time. That's probably why they tried to sell it beforehand. It's because they didn't have the means or the availability to sell it at each concert, so they wanted the fans to get them online beforehand. So that's my opinion on it. But there's another aspect to this that I don't think they accounted for, is that as an international fan, concerts and the internet are really the only way that we can get swag. Therefore, we are pretty much all going to want to get swag, to purchase their merchandise at a concert. That's what we expect. That's what we are wanting. That's what we're excited for. We prepare for this. We bring loads of money with us so that we can buy merchandise. They needed to use communication skills. I mean, Verizon is a company that works with communication. You would have thought they would have tried to communicate a bit more, but they didn't. So nobody knew that they weren't going to sell the swag, and if they did, then they sold it really weird. Either way, there was no communication, and it was just so poorly run. So I don't really feel that disappointed on the things that I missed out on, mostly because BAB still are rookies. This is their first world tour, and it's crazy that they came to the US on their first tour. I mean, that's crazy good. I don't know of any other rookie band, maybe you guys can tell me, but as far as I know, no other rookie band has been able to go on a US tour within their first year and a half of being a band. That's pretty crazy. And no matter how boss they are right now, they're just gonna get more boss, and they're gonna get more attention, and they're gonna get better, and their swag is gonna get cooler, and they'll have much better organizers and better venues in the future. So and I'm still planning on moving to Korea, so this is definitely not the last time that I'm going to see them in concert. This is just the first time. And it was a pretty good experience. With all the ups and downs included, it just made for a very interesting experience. Frustrating, but interesting. And I'm pretty sure all their concerts after this will be better organized. I hope, at least. I'm looking forward to seeing them again, and I love these boys. They are amazing, and I cannot wait to see them grow and become an even greater, awesome band. Okay, I hope this review was helpful in one way or another. Don't kill me if you don't agree with me. That's okay, you don't have to agree with me. This is my own personal review, and it's kind of biased at this point since I'm kind of the only one doing the review right now, but this is what I saw, this is what I thought, my observations. Take what you can from it. If you don't like everything I said, that's okay. See you soon.